It's been 8 years since MGS5's release, and while this game was marketed to be the missing link that completes the saga, it actually raised some pretty important questions for longtime fans of the series, one of them being quite an open-ended one. And the reason we mention open-ended is because no one yet knows whether this particular issue is a writing mistake that still needs fixing, or whether it was intentionally changed from the lore of the franchise. How's it going, guys? It's PythonSelkan here, and for today's video, we'll be talking about a pretty crucial plot point that had been long established in Metal Gear canon, yet was mysteriously changed for MGS5. We've already featured this issue throughout some of our videos since the Phantom Pain's release, but the fact that it was deliberately kept this way for 8 whole years now makes things more questionable than ever.
The original members, Paramedic, Sigint, Eva, Ocelot, they've all passed on.
MGS3's Paramedic, also known as Dr. Clark, is one of the original members of the Patriots, and even though it's been a long time since we've seen her appearance, Clark is a very crucial character in the Metal Gear franchise, being the very same doctor who conducted the Les Enfants Terribles project, and who was also responsible for placing Big Boss in an artificially induced coma. As well as keeping Grey Fox drugged and experimented on for 4 long years as part of her gene therapy experiments. In other words, this doctor turns from a jolly medical advisor and movie fanatic into one of the big bads of the series. Dr. Clark is the only Patriot whose death we haven't witnessed, with her murder said to be caused by Grey Fox 2 years before the Shadow Moses incident, as part of Eva and Ocelot's plan to eliminate the last of the original Patriots. After being freed from torture by his adopted sister, Naomi, Grey Fox would murder Dr. Clark and explode the entire lab, with Naomi reporting it as a laboratory accident and faking Fox's death in the reports.
He was killed in an explosion in his lab 2 years ago.
And this is where MGS5 makes changes to this information. The ending timeline in the Phantom Pain shows these events as being held in the year 2005, during the same year of the Shadow Moses incident, when we know that in MGS1, Naomi tells us Dr. Clark had been killed 2 years before that time, which would make it the year 2003.
A predecessor, Dr. Clark, was in charge.
Dr. Clark?
Yes, he started the gene therapy project.
And where is he now?
He was killed in an explosion in his lab 2 years ago.
Not only that, but Naomi even states that Grey Fox had been subjected to Clark's experiments for 4 long years, and we know Yeager's body was retrieved from Zanzibar in 1999, which all leads to the year 2003.
Apparently, for their test subject, they decided to use the body of a soldier who was recovered after the fall of Zanzibar.
And that was Grey Fox. But he was already dead.
Yes, but they revived him. They fitted him with a prototype exoskeleton and kept him drugged for 4 years while they experimented on him like a plaything.
As you can see here, errors in MGS5's ending timeline had already been fixed with game updates following release, so if this truly was a genuine mistake, it could have easily been fixed in 8 years. But no, Clark's year of death remains inconsistent to this very day. In 2016, we had also tweeted to Metal Gear's community manager at the time, Mr. Robert Peeler, who replied that he could check with the writers of the game, but the team wasn't looking to share additional information about that character back then, which pretty much means that the Metal Gear team had been working on Dr. Clark behind the scenes.
We enlisted Naomi Hunter, an authority in the field of nanomachine research, into our organization. And we used Frank Yeager to kill Dr. Clark.
After MGS3 and Portable Ops, Clark became so secretive that people weren't even sure of her gender, whether she was a man or a woman, And while some fans thought her gender had been retconned, since MGS1 referred to Clark as a man, MGS5 did a great job at explaining it, with Huey stating that they can't say for sure whether Dr. Clark was even a he.
You've really never heard of him?
I don't meet many doctors.
This Dr. Clark is a complete ghost, even to others in his field. His age, where he comes from, that might not be his real name. And I can't even say for sure he's a he.
Wherever the story is heading next, Dr. Clark is undoubtedly one of the characters that are bound to appear or to be involved in some shape or form, which could very well coincide with the words of former community manager Mr. Peeler. The fact that the Metal Gear team was very well aware of Dr. Clark behind the scenes strongly implies that the year of her death was intentionally changed from what we're told in MGS1, altering it by 2 years, from 2003 to 2005. This could of course mean that Dr. Clark's death is one of the intentional retcons that Kojima said they needed to sacrifice for the sake of better storytelling. And that begs the question, why change this part of the canon all those years after MGS1, especially for events that are yet to happen in the story? Of course, numerous characters from MGS5, such as Miller, Ocelot, Liquid, and Mantis, were all present in Alaska in 2005, with Miller being assassinated in his home.
Snake! That's not Master Miller!
But what significance does Dr. Clark's year of death have to the storyline of MGS5? Unless no one has quite seen the bigger picture yet.
I'm sure you'll see the bigger picture eventually.
What are your thoughts on all this? Do you think we'll be seeing Dr. Clark's return in a future Metal Gear title? And why do you think her death was changed from MGS5's ending timeline? Let us know your thoughts and theories in the comment section down below. We hope you enjoyed this video, and for all things Metal Gear, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to our channel. We'll be sure to return the favor with content you won't find anywhere else. Thank you all for watching. Until we meet again, PythonSelkan out.